sol, vamos a la playa a sentir el calor. Quédate conmigo hasta que salga el sol. Hasta que salga el sol. You don't cry, you're not strong enough to care. Getting lost in my own pain, not in the game. One more dance to see me. I've been hoping we could try not to lie alone tonight. I will never have the life you stole. Now I'm keeping everything in my soul. If you call me in the night, I will ask you every time. Can you breathe me? Another light until it pulls on me. Silence will get me through, bring harmony for you. Together where this pain has got to go, I've got to go. 11th hour, people fail to pass the test. Holding out for a last chance, the heart to relapse. One more life to take me, and I hope they won't try. 'Cause I don't wanna know if I get out. Silence will get me through, bring harmony for you. Together where this pain has got to go, I've got to go. standing, staying still. Never said what I feel, and every time I took the blame, carried on this quiet shame. Puts all the pressure in my chest. I've got to fight to catch my breath when every step still feels the same. Trying not to break. Where do I go from here? Maybe I'll disappear. If I don't try, I'll never know. I'm waiting on you. Where do I go from here? There'll be no more tears. Kill the doubt, feed the fire, hear the voice inside. Not giving up, it's my turn this time. They took a shot, now I want mine. Before I rise, I take the wheel. So this is how it feels. Where do I go from here? Maybe I'll disappear. If I don't try, I'll never know. I'm waiting on you. Where do I go from here? There'll be no more tears. Kill the doubt, feed the fire, hear the voice inside. It's like clockwork, how it always ends by my tongue, 'cause I have to pretend that feelings find them in a coffin, but there's no space for healing or letting you in. Round and round is all we go. We can't call this love, but it's all we've ever known. Back and forth is control. We can't call this love, but it's all we've been hurting for quite some time. What keep falling between our eyes? I hear you cry, but what am I to do when I feel just as numb as you? Take it to the sky. Take your body over. Look at the rhythm that I take your body higher. Show me the how. Oh, if you love me, baby, say it now. Oh, if you love me, baby, scream it out. So just say it now, baby, scream out loud. So just say it now, baby, scream out loud. Baby, say it now, baby, scream out loud. So just say it now, baby, scream out loud, scream out loud. Oh, baby, show me the how. Oh, if you love me, baby, say it now. Oh, if you love me, baby, scream it out. So just say it. Oh, baby, oh, if you love me, baby, show me the how. Oh, if you love me, baby, say it now. Oh, if you love me, baby, scream it out. If you want me, baby, let me know. Oh, if you want me, baby, show me the how. Oh, if you love me, baby, say it now. Oh, if you love me, baby, scream it out. So just say it now, baby, scream out loud. So just say it now, baby, scream out loud. Baby, say it now, baby, scream out loud. So just say it now, baby, scream out loud. Baby, if you love me, baby, let me know. Show me the how. Oh, if you love me, baby, say it now. If you love me, baby, scream it out. So say it. Oh, baby, let me know. Oh, if you love me, baby, show me the how. Oh, if you love me, baby, say it now. If you love me, baby, scream it out.
Alrighty, hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Monday night, which all of you hopefully know at this point what that means. But in case you don't, that means we have some lovely duo Fortnite builds for you tonight, and we have another stacked roster of teams that we'll be watching tonight. Very quickly, let me introduce you to our teams. Our primary team, the team that we'll be watching the most, is the Chefs. That team is composed of Jack, aka Chef Jack, and Jordan, aka Ravine. Our secondary team, and we'll be watching the second most, is the GOATs. That team is composed up of Brady, aka BL Mace, and Nick, aka Mello. Our third team, the team we're watching here and there, keeping an eye on, see how they're doing, is the YOYOZ. That team is composed up of Parker, aka VHCH17, and Roland, aka Roland Bot. And finally, most certainly not least though, our last team of the night, our fourth team, is the famous people. And that team is composed up of Miko, aka Miko, and Roston, aka Shadow Hymns. But, ladies and gentlemen, we are already getting a start here. The Chefs is already underway, so let's tune in to watch some Fortnite. All right, as you can see here, currently watching Chef Jack's perspective as him and Jordan are going to start us off here and really just going to try and get some good drops under their belts. Now, this is a team that played very solid last week, but didn't quite make it enough. Right? They didn't throw their name into the mix yet for ESC. They're still trying to break in, trying to make their mark as a duo here. And realistically, this is a team that has enough skill to do those things. They just need to figure it out, figure out some of the chemistry issues that comes with playing with a new teammate and how they can both play to the best of their abilities. And I was able to hear Chef Jack talk a little bit before, and he's hungry for Florida. He was asking questions, figuring out what he needs to do to qualify, figuring out where he can look, and that is a great way to start as we see Chef Jack and Jordan combine on an early knock here in drop number 1 in week 2, and that is how you expect a team like this to get started. All right, as I was just saying, again, a great way to start there for Jordan and Jack as they find an early elim. And if this is a team that wants to make sure that they're able to break in to qualifiers for ESC here, they are going to need drops that are consistent, that are high placed, and that have a lot of kills, and need to make sure that they make it impossible for whoever decides who goes to ESC, impossible not to put them on this list. And with an early first elim in job number 1 here, you have to think that that's a really good way to start, and it's really just a good way to get some momentum, under their belts for this week number 2, and hopefully it can carry on into our continued watching of them in this drop number 1. But as some of you may or may not know, we talked a lot about it last week with Guff. But one good drop is not enough to secure your ticket. They're going to need lots and lots and lots of good drops. Ideally, every good drop that they can afford to get here is what they need. Don't remember how much I talked about it last week. I know I talked about it off stream with Lachlan from Guff, but the real hard part about qualifying for an event like this is you never want to put it in the other team's hands. You always want to make sure that your qualification is in your hands, that it's something that you are able to control. As soon as it is getting, oh my gosh, I cannot talk right now. As soon as it is taken out of your control, that's when you have to start to look into some luck, look into some fortunate scenarios. And again, you just never really want to put yourself in that position. So for a team like the Chefs, if they can start performing well and consistent here, they are going to gain some of that control over their placements, and that's exactly what they need to do. And really just doing a good job here at farming mats, something we heard Coach Kyle talk about early this practice so far, and something that we saw not so much of a struggle with last week, at least from the games we saw on stream, but we heard that some teams were struggling with last week was making sure that they were farming mats, making sure they were using mats effectively. So really want to keep an eye out here on all of our teams here, whether it's some of the ones on stream or some of the ones off stream, to make sure that they are farming them and they are using those mats effectively. And so we see Jordan and Jack there take a little bit of damage from the storm, about 7-ish health. Luckily, you're going to find some slurp barrels. Not only is that good to use of metal, but also going to get them both back to 200. And these guys are on a roll. This almost looks like a little bit of a different team that we saw last week. Now, I know we didn't watch a bunch of them last week. We watched a lot of Guff last week, but this team is running around. They're surveying the map. We saw them get the early knock, so we know they got to be confident so far in this drop number 1. They just have to make sure they continue to play a smart game here. And it looks like maybe they say a reboot. Jack, I think, saw one off in the distance there, so maybe going to try and find a squad that's a little caught out at the moment, or a duo, I guess I should say, that's a little caught out at the moment. See if they can't find some kills. Jack trying to see if he can find anybody. Doesn't see any players, but does mark the toilet. Obviously, the toilet could be a teleport location. And we do see some shots now come through. Chef Jack trying to find some. And actually land some on the one player. Hit for 37, and you have to anticipate that that storm is ticking away now. It only does 1 damage per tick right now, but especially when you're getting shot a lot, you're taking a lot of damage from bullets. That little bit of damage can do numbers on you. And it looks like Jordan is going to jump down in that build fight. We're going to see from Jordan's perspective here. And we missed it, but it looks like they did actually get the kill on that one player. And now, taking a lot of damage from the storm here. Need to make sure that they don't put themselves in a bad position. Need to try their best to get out. And we see Jordan with the wingsuit, but I don't think Jack has any movement looking at his inventory just a few moments ago. So I would anticipate that maybe they're going to try to find a launch pad. Maybe they're just going to run it. I mean, they have the resources to survive, and luckily they're not too far off, but man. And it looks like there is a launch pad atop this boulder here. So they are able to get out with no real worry at this point. Currently watching Jordan's perspective here is he's going to be the one to get out of that storm first. Jack follows shortly in suit. And now these guys heal up, recover a little bit from all that storm damage. We're going to switch on over to our secondary team of the GOATs and see how they're doing in drop number 1 so far. Alrighty. And this team is yet again composed up of Brady, a.k.a. BL Mace, and Nick, a.k.a. Mello. Currently watching Nick's perspective here. These guys not nearly in as much of a... Let me move the mouse out of the way. Sorry, y'all. Not nearly in as much of a bad position here. Taking a lot of damage from that storm as we saw the chefs doing. But the GOATs having a struggle of their own, at least from Nick, we see doesn't have a lot of mats, and even his loadout is not very good. Let's take a quick peek over onto Brady's screen and see what Brady's working with. Brady's loadout does appear to be quite a bit better, and Brady does have a lot more mats, but I don't know really what the disconnect is there. I don't know if Brady's maybe just unaware or if Nick was maybe used a bunch. I'm not really sure, but Nick needs to farm back up. You can see Brady with all but max wood and then max brick and max metal, and Nick has quite a bit of metal but is far off of max wood or max brick, so definitely going to have to farm up here when they get the chance. And still in the safe zone here. Haven't taken any damage from that storm yet. Looks like gonna try and loot. Try and coordinate with who wants what. As we see, Brady's loadout is just stacked right now. And Brady, being that IGL, has such good game sense, but also just such patience. And we actually see them get exposed as a firefight starts to take place. Maybe a third party here. Brady's going to try to take some shots. He does land one for 19 and another for 18 and a third for 18. Nick, do not believe, has taken a shot yet. Brady's going to be very aware as there are people right at this gas station. Currently going to use a bush here for some natural cover. Brady and Nick both just keeping their eyes open. That storm is a closing, so they're going to have to make a decision here. And it looks like Brady's going to initiate the charge. Let's see, is that team still at the gas station? It doesn't look like it. There's some free mats here. Brady's going to pick up. Also, Nick as well. Just going to use this gas station as a little bit of coverage. That team is still on the mountaintop. Obviously, we don't know for sure, but they are going to decide to start to rotate now. They try to get into that circle. Although we do see some shots on the visual audio indicated. We haven't seen any actual bullets fly through the air quite yet. These guys are going to have to be aware. And we see a ramp right to where Brady is running. So he's going to have to take a moment here. Nick closing that distance. And now, in the named POI of Wonky Land, they're going to have to be careful here. So it looks like they're going to go for the care package. Some really good loot here. We do see some more shots on the visual audio. We don't know where they're coming from, but Brady's going to go for a ride on the Ferris wheel, y'all. He's sightseeing. So going to use that as the redeploy to get all the way over to where that storm is going to be. And with that building in front of them, that named POI, you would suspect that some players are going to be there. And the builds on top is a great giveaway as well that I didn't see before. And some footsteps. Brady does suspect one's in the bush. He does find a shot for 27. Nick has to group up with him. Nick's still a little bit far behind. Brady has to buy time here. He does land a big shot there for 86, but it takes a lot of damage as well. And that smoke, I can't tell if it's helping him or hurting him. I think, honestly, it was hurting him more than it was helping him, as Brady is going to get eliminated, and now it's all up to Nick. Nick does control high ground right now. And he's just going to try and get into the box here of the player that killed his teammate. Can't get the build and loses control. And the goats are going to be eliminated. So let's tune in to the YOYOZ and see how they're doing. Looks like just Parker is still alive for this team. Rolling, eliminated at some point. Now, one thing that we have to talk about is that these teams in the same division, all three of our teams so far are in the same division, in the same half of that division as well, all in Division 1B. So And not only does an elimination like that hurt someone like the GOAT's placements here, but also helps teams like the Yo-Yos and the Chefs to increase their odds. And that's exactly what the Chefs want, assuming that they're still alive. And I can confirm that they are, as we see Jordan get a kill in the kill feed. And Parker just playing a very patient game here. That's really all he can do. He's down a teammate, so just can't afford to put himself in a bad situation. We're going to go back to the Chefs and see how they're doing. This is a team that has stressed that they want to do well. And right now, as a duo, they have 5 elims, and that's a great way to cement their case here. And what a laser beam we saw there from Chef Jack. Couldn't find the kill, but a lot of damage comes through. And him and Jordan try to pepper those builds to see if they can't find some damage. Unfortunately, they cannot. So they're just going to have to try and relax here a little bit. Going to use that Flowberry Fizz. Maybe for a little bit of health. Maybe for a little bit of a movement item. As Jack almost exposes himself. But manages to recover very well. And that could have been a misplay that ruins your game. But we see such good coordination from Chef Jack and Jordan as they find and knock on the player in the build. And now just have to make a decision here whether they're going to push that team or continue to play their game as they find another elim. As this team is sitting at 6 elims as a duo here. Need to make sure they don't get split up. In the moments of these late games when circle starts to get small, it can be so easy for you and your teammate to get split up here, but it looks like Chef Jack and Jordan are on the same page. Pings are getting used. Everything is flowing here. Just have to make sure that they continue to play a solid fundamental game. As we see the Flowberry Fizz actually kind of hurting them a little bit. Luckily, they are able to recover with it. And we do see Parker get eliminated in the kill feed. So the Yo-Yos is no longer with us in this drop number 1. But a good performance from them. Still a lot of players left, though. 21, technically 19, not counting Jack and Jordan here. And it looks like they might be getting ready to pounce on another team. Have to be careful, though. As Jack is just trying to get some eyes in the sky of what he can and can't see. Does take a little bit of damage, not much, though. Is able to recover pretty well. Panics a little bit, but again, able to recover very well. Yet again, we're going to see that Flowberry Fizz uses a movement item. And because they decide to use the Fizz, it does take them a little bit longer. A lot of teams get a lot of movement in front of them, but that means Chef Jack and Jordan can just fight their way into the circle, and that's what we see them do as they find another kill here. So these guys continue just to play a phenomenal game, and they're going to get into that circle and just hold the edge of it. 16 players still remaining, 14 not counting them. And this is where the game gets hectic. This is where winners and losers get decided here. Looks like yet again they're going to use that Flowberry Fizz as movement. Just great recovery skills from these guys. Although Jordan overshoots a little bit, takes a lot of damage there from the storm. Is able to get back into it. Him and Jack need to group back up. They're right next to each other. Jordan sees one, tries to find a shotgun shot, but misses the head of that player. Although what a big 92 there for Jordan as they drop in and they find the knock. And they're going to get the elim there. 8 elims as a duo for this team. And they are just playing so well together. And this circle is getting almost non-existent. So tiny. Still so many people left. Actually, only 6. So 3 duos. Could we see a victory royale here as Jordan jumps up, finds a knock on one player, takes a lot of damage to the storm though, tries to find another elim, can't find it. And Jack, unfortunately, is no longer with us. Now Jordan's got a lot to do on by himself here, and he does find the kill. It's a 1v2. Can Jordan do it? Just gonna use that wingsuit. It's a little bit of a refresh here. Able to cool himself down, buy himself a couple seconds. Gonna use that Flowberry Fizz. Unfortunately for Jordan, he's on low ground and he can't get back control of the high ground. Gonna try and find a spleef here, but can't do it. He's gonna try and farm up some mats here and take some damage there. Jordan on 30 health. Gonna use that Flowberry Fizz. And he's able to get up on the high ground and a victory royale for the chefs. And what good gameplay from Jordan and Jack. Oh my word. I can't believe we just watched that live. Huge shout out to Jack and Jordan as those guys played a phenomenal game and were able to secure the victory royale. And when we talked about putting your name on the map for ESC, those are exactly the kinds of performances that you need to have when they count. Phenomenal drops there from Jack and Jordan. And I am oh so hopeful that maybe we'll see the back-to-back. Can they do it in drop 2? I don't know. Lachlan. What a good drop, though. What good drops we saw all around. Now, obviously, not everything went according to plan. Not everything was perfect, but you have to really shout out how well all of our teams did it. And I know we didn't get to watch any famous people, but I honestly, I just couldn't turn away from the chefs. They were on a different game. That was a generational run, a generational drop for them. And I suspect a lot more to come from them in the near future. Maybe even just the next drop. Shout out Jack and Jordan. I can't say it enough. But ladies and gentlemen, I have a little bit of bad news. Unfortunately, I don't have any water up here because I forgot some. So we're going to take a brief pause, probably about a minute or two. I'm going to go relax my breath, relax my vocal cords, drink some water, and then we will be back. So now is a great time to grab a bite to eat, go to the bathroom, do whatever it is you need to do, because I'll be back soon. So stay tuned. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that break wasn't too long for you. We're back. I hope you guys are back as well. We have Fortnite drop 2 in just a few minutes. And just in case you guys didn't see, we have some new emotes. Shout out our graphic design intern, Sarah. She's been doing a great job, and she made some emotes for us. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot yet, but there's still some more on the way, so don't you worry too much about that. Still a work in progress, but you can see some of my ones that I used in the chat, the easy win ones, because Chef Jack and Jordan did in fact get a win. So huge shout out to those guys. And I'm looking forward to all of our emotes getting finished, and that hopefully you guys are going to be able to use them. We have some free emotes like the easy wins one that I just used. I also have another free emote in there right now. We have some more free emotes on the way, and then we also have some subscriber emotes. There's 2 in there, one for myself, Coach Christian, and then one for Coach Jacob as well, one of the Valorant and the Smash coach. So some additional coach emotes coming as well. Hope you guys are very excited about those. I know I am, but stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for those, and stay tuned for another phenomenal drop of Fortnite. In case you are just now tuning in, first off, welcome to the stream. I hope you're enjoying. I hope if this is your first time watching, I hope you love the content here. Yeah, obviously we try our best. But we had a phenomenal drop number 1. We got to watch the goats, or not the goats. Oh, we got to watch the chefs. Excuse me. The team composed of Jack and Jordan get a victory royale live on stream, and it was a phenomenal watch. We also got to watch the GOATs, Brady and Nick, play a very solid drop. And then last we saw a little bit of the YOYOZ hunker down and do whatever it is that they needed to do to try and maximize their placement points as well. So very solid Fortnite all around so far in this week number 2 of the spring season. There's still a lot of weeks left, which means not only a lot of Fortnite left, but also a lot of other games left and a lot of live streams left. So I hope you guys love tuning into the live streams. I put in some work to make sure that they're good. Obviously, I hope you guys enjoy the commentary, because I do put in some work to improve that and make sure that is entertaining at least a little bit, and that we all have some fun up here and you guys get to watch some good gameplay. I would anticipate here that we are here minutes away, maybe even less than a minute at this point. I don't know quite yet, but very, very close to drop number 2. 3 of our 4 teams are all in the same division, so obviously some friendliness, but also a little bit of friendly rivalry going on. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say, but some friendly rivalry going on in the division. So actually, our 3 teams, our main 3 teams we're watching. God, I'm so sorry. The chefs, the goats, and the YOYOZ are all in the same division. So that's how we can keep an eye on the teams, even if we're not watching them, because obviously we can peep the kill feed and make sure that everything is underway. And we are just very, very close to some Fortnite. Wow, I'm still kind of shocked. I'm kind of shook that we got to see just such good gameplay from Jack and Jordan as we saw them get a victory royale. I feel like we haven't seen a victory royale here on stream in quite some time. I can't even remember. I want to say it might have been the fall season. It might have been even longer than that. I really don't know. It's been a little while. I think the Simpsons season was the last time we saw a victory royale, which I don't remember when that was, but it feels like a while. Just waiting here for this drop to actually start. Of course, you guys know this is a little bit out of our control, and by a little bit, I mean fully out of my control, out of our control. Just waiting for everybody to get in, waiting for any technical issues to get solved, waiting for the drop to actually commence here. So, of course, you guys know I always apologize for the delays, for the inconveniences, because what can you do? So, unfortunately, we are at a mercy. Wow, what a skin that is. Unfortunately, we are at the mercy here of when the drop actually starts. So, just going to continue to wait and see, as none of the drops here have started yet for drop number 2. So, I know I said 3 of our 4 teams that we're watching are in the same division, but our 4th team is not there in the other half of Division 1. So, Division 1A. Just waiting to see when things get kicked underway here. It was a huge dub indeed. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't have said it better myself. Run it back. And ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we are loading in. So let's tune in to hopefully another victory royale. But either way, some high quality Fortnite. As again, we are going to start it out with the chefs. Gonna try and feature some of our other teams a little bit more this drop, but gonna watch a bunch of the chefs here, as these guys are on fire tonight, and I suspect another very good drop. And now last time we saw the chefs start here, we actually saw them get a kill really early. It'll be interesting if they try to keep that pace up again, if that was a confidence boost or momentum boost, or I don't know what, but it'll be interesting to see if they can keep that pace up, or if maybe they're going to try a little bit of a different gameplay, and they're going to try and slow it down and kind of let the game come to them, since they're off such a high like winning. I suspect that they're going to try and find another kill to boost confidence really early, and it looks like Jack is absolutely tracking someone as they're dropping in. So actually, it seems like a lot of people are dropping into this highway area. Jack uses a little bit of a good strategy there to get down on the ground early, but hasn't found a weapon yet. Hopefully that player hasn't. As Jordan's in the trash can, and he has found a weapon, and Jack is going to get eliminated early here. And Jordan is on low health, but actually gets the kill. Huge clutch there from Jordan, as he's able to keep his team in drop number 2. When you talk about doing things like wanting to qualify for ESC, that would have crushed all of the hard work that they just put into last drop, and crushed their hopes and their dreams potentially. But Jordan says, no, 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 not on my shift, and takes the game back into their control. And we see them get the kill early. And the interesting thing about the chefs is they just do not allow a lot of downtime for themselves. It's a very active team. They do a lot. They see a lot. They kill a lot. They're just a very do-it team. So while we have a couple moments here, we're going to go through, rotate through our other teams and see how they're starting. So let's tune in to the GOATs and see what their start looks like. looks like they are starting off pretty solid as well. No kill yet for the GOATs. But the GOATs is a very solid team fundamentally. So they are going to do whatever it is they need to do. Make sure that they are solid. To see Nick there, I have to change a little bit of settings. Currently watching Nick's perspective, but as we see Nick just firing up here, let's take a little quick peep into Brady, and Brady doing the same thing as well. Loadout's not being ideal quite yet, but again, this team is so good fundamentally that I wouldn't even worry about it too much. This is a team that just really can just control a game, but also just let the game come to them. They're not gonna overcomplicate anything. They're just gonna keep the game simple and let their brains work. So as we see these guys continue to farm up, we're gonna tune into the YOYOZ and see what their drop number 2 is looking like early so far. This team composed of Parker and Roland. Currently watching Roland's perspective here, as it looked like these guys decided to go with the matching skins. Although, caught out in the storm here. Oh wow, this was actually the team that landed near Chef Jack and Jordan. We could see an early engagement here, depending on where Jack and Jordan are at this moment. Now, I would anticipate that Jack and Jordan are probably long gone at this point. They're probably in the safe zone, but if Jack and Jordan rotated a little slow, then unfortunately Parker and Roland could have a rude awakening on their hands. So it looks like they're going to use this launch pad here. And again, the YOYO is just another fundamentally sound team. So good at their decision making, so good at letting the game come to them. As we do see some shots on the visual audio indicator, you almost have to wonder if that is Jack and Jordan. Obviously, we don't know for sure, but a lot of shots coming through. Roland actually taking a little bit of damage. So it looks like we're going to see the wingsuit used to try to get out of dodge. Roland thought that they were actually going to push the team. Parker had no anticipation of doing that, just wanted to get out. So Roland here not using his wingsuit very effectively. Parker, the opposite, able to use it much more effectively. Now, they're going to have to try their best to close this space, as it looks like they just ran into more combat. Parker left almost in a 2v1 here now. Roland not that far, but Roland has to make a decision here, and it's going to be whether to help his teammate or not, and it looks like he decides not to. Parker just going to get eliminated, and Roland going to try to keep a low profile, but he's not in the circle, so he's going to take some damage here. And is just going to try and waste some time. He's going to use that wingsuit to get into circle, but man, he's going to have to try and grab the reboot card. This is not a great position for Roland to be in. Especially because I don't think the reboot card is in the circle. No, it is not. So he's going to have to be really picky here with how he uses the wingsuit, if that's what he decides to do. He's just letting himself tick down so low. But really can't waste the med kit until he's out. And thinks about using it, is able to cancel it last second. And he's going to have to go soon. I mean, I know he's trying to buy as much time as possible, but just taking so much damage, decides to go now. Doesn't use the wingsuit. So he's going to have to burn this med kit. And he does burn it. And let's see how much damage he ends up taking. Is able to get into the box. And does pick up his teammates' minis. And that circle is moving again. And even though he used the med kit, he's already back down to 78 green health. And now I'm going to go to that reboot right away. No, gets out of dodge because another team is there. And we're going to tune into the famous people and see what's going on with their drop. As it looks like they have already been eliminated. We're going to go back to the chefs and see how they're doing. As the chefs are still alive. We see only the one kill so far. So these guys, it's been a little bit of a quieter game for these guys. If we see some footsteps on the visual audio indicator, that means a player or a team has to be close to Chef Jack right now. And we just see in the kill feed, Roland is going to bite the dust. So that means the YOYOZ is eliminated from drop number 2. A little unlucky for them. We just see this team rotating again. A much more patient game than we saw last game from Drek and Jordan. Just trying not to expose themselves. And a lot of shots going on. Jack's head on a swivel. Could we see the repeat? As we tick down closer and closer, the odds of it happening become ever more likely. That makes sense? I think so. As they try to find one, Jack didn't end up taking any shots. We're seeing this team not have a lot of mats. Now, they do have an okay number, but when you talk about late game fights, mat control could be the thing that makes you or breaks you. And do they have enough mats for a late game? I don't think so. They're going to have to try and stall some time here to farm up. As Shift Jack gets eliminated, I missed what happened. I don't even know. I think they just got jumped on. And now Jordan just trying to get out of dodge, trying to be elusive here with the wingsuit. Gets all the way to the other side of the circle. Or the storm, I guess I should say. Oh, Jordan tries to find the elim there. Gets a lot of white damage, but can't find the finishing blow. Jordan actually is in a pretty solid position here to rotate early to that circle, as it looks like that's what he's going to do. Maybe trying to hold some high ground right on the edge. Gonna try and farm some mats as well. He's got a lot of wood, but has almost no metal. Luckily, he does have quite a bit of brick. The brick is gonna be his friend here in the late game. And we saw Jordan clutch last drop. Can he do it again? All odds against him. And so much going on around him. This is when the game really starts to become hectic. 30 players left. 29, not counting Jordan. We know the yo-yos are eliminated, but it looks like the goats are still in it. So a much better drop from them in drop number 2 than they had last drop. Jordan right on the edge of the circle here. Let's see if he's favored. No, he is not. And he's got a long way to go if he wants to get to that new circle. And realistically, a lot of opponents blocking that path. "24 players still alive, 23 not counting Jordan." I would anticipate that we're going to see a last second rotate here. No, looks like he's actually going to go now. Tries to maintain that high ground. Actually using the zip line here is a little bit of control. And I think is just right on the edge of that circle and actually jumps down, gives up high ground. But now is really on the edge. Has to be careful he doesn't get spleefed out here. And this is one of the scenarios where you really don't want to be using wood. You'd much rather have brick or metal around you, but Jordan doesn't have any metal and wants to save his brick for now, so his only option is wood. And we see there he lands a bullet for 27, but can't find an elim. Things happening so chaotically. See Jordan try to get some intel there. Yeah, and now he's really not in a good position because now he has to go back up the mountain that he jumped down. Now, he does have that wingsuit, so realistically, he could just open up his box and jump straight up and out, but has to be careful of what he's going to do here. Looks like he's going to try to use some opponent's builds and his own to try and scale his mountain a little bit, and is able to get out. But out of wood with one piece of metal, that's not enough for a build. So you say out of metal, he's only got 273 brick. And he does make it to the circle. 18 players left, 17 not counting Jordan. And man, is this drop really starting to get hectic. A big shotgun shot there, 82, then another for 100, but doesn't find the elim. Tries to get up, but can't. And they are going to finish 12th. I can't tell if the goats are still alive. Let's take a quick peek in and see if they are. No, actually they were, but they just ended. They got 11th. So a little unlucky there for them. But what a drop. What a solid drop. Now, man, I really don't know how Jack and Jordan are going to feel about that second drop. Now, a 12th place is still very solid, but is it enough? It's always the question. Is it enough? And to be honest, I don't know. I don't know. They're in a very scary situation where they're trying to do everything they can to push for ESC. And again, a first with, I think they had like 8 kills that drop. A first with 8 kills. It's a very solid drop. That's a great drop. That's a phenomenal drop. But 12th, while still very solid, is not great. Is not phenomenal. So you really have to start to wonder, is it enough? Is it not enough? I don't know. But enough about the theatrics, the theoretical talk. Let's see if we can get Jack and Jordan up into the booth for some post-match interviews to see how they're feeling after some very good drops tonight. And just a very solid performance. Just going to wait and see maybe if we can snipe Jack and or Jordan and or both potentially as they kind of clean up here, as it looks like Jack is making his way up. Maybe we can snipe him right before he leaves. Let's see if we can. And it looks like we are going to be able to snipe at least Jack. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the booth, Chef Jack. Wait for him to get his headset on here. Chef Jack, welcome into the booth, and how are you feeling after those drops tonight? Yeah, you know, I want to talk a little bit about drop number 1. You know, maybe there's a little bit of elephant in the room. But Victory Royale with, I want to say 8 elims, correct me if I'm wrong?
11.
11, sorry, wow. Victory Royale with 11 elims is no drop to bat an eye on. So talk to me a little bit about how you guys felt in the moment, or the closing moments of that drop.
I honestly didn't think we were going to win with the position Jordan was in. He had high ground, mats, and Jordan had none.
Yep.
So I felt a little queasy after the fact, but after we won, it went away.
Yeah, absolutely. And now you and Jordan, I'm pretty sure this is your guys' first season actually playing together. And Jordan used to play with us, took a little break, and then came back. So not only being able to adjust to this new play style that you guys are working on, but being able to build some of that chemistry. What does that look like so far for you guys?
I feel like we're gonna do pretty good this season because we're getting a well-find after the second week of playing with each other. So I think this is pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to talk. Now I heard you personally asking about ESC, about asking about the qualifiers and what all that looks like. And tell me a little bit about how you're feeling about your chances to qualify for that event after a night like tonight.
After tonight, I feel like we're almost guaranteed if we get top 5 and a top 10 each week. I feel like we should be good to qualify, and we need the teams that are already qualified to qualify or like keep winning so they can qualify again.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Chef Jack, congratulations on some huge drops tonight.
Thank you.
Of course, we're always up here rooting for you guys, and I'm honestly stoked we got to see that live. I'm sure you were stoked because
Yeah.
you, obviously it happened to you, but just phenomenal drops all around, and congratulations on your performance tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Jordan, unfortunately, dipped out here pretty early, so that's all right. We're not going to be able to talk to him, but well, we'll keep the interviews a little short tonight as Chef Jack just throws his phone. Wow, he's pumped up. I'm just kidding. He just dropped it. I'm just kidding, y'all. Let's see if we can get Coach Kyle on up here to see if maybe he's free. There's still a lot of players left here, so I don't know how free he's going to be, but maybe we can get him up here for a little short, quick interview. Wow, just again, what a phenomenal night. What a phenomenal performance from Chef Jack and Jordan as going to get him. Coach Kyle knows what that signal means, and here he comes. Coach Kyle is making his way into the booth. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Coach Kyle.
Gosh, this guy right here. Okay, let's see if I remember how to put headphones on. I do. Look at that.
Absolutely. Well, Coach Kyle, welcome to the booth. How are
Thank
you
you.
feeling after
Great.
the drops tonight?
I'm feeling great. Again, this is like a step forward in pretty much everything that you and I talked about last week in terms of more consistency, in terms of more calmness, in terms of taking fights the way that we wanted to take them. Overall, across the board, yeah, I'm stoked.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a lot. We saw a lot of improvement. Overall, I think placements this week were much better from all of the teams we witnessed.
Huge, huge, huge.
We have to shout out Jack and Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
First place with 11 kills is
Absolutely,
crazy.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a great. I mean, what do you want to talk about the game? You want to talk about Jack's fantastic instincts?
No,
as
what I want to talk a
fragger?
little
You
bit
talk about Jordan's eye
there
yelling.
was something that we struggle to see teams do is play together in the chaotic endgame. And Jack and Jordan did the exact opposite. They played as if they were one.
Yes, and I'm going to give Jordan all of the props in the world for that. Jordan made call-outs the way that you have heard me make call-outs when I'm teaching kids how to IGL. And it was constant. It was consistent. It was, hey, with me. We're going to rotate this direction. Ready, go. Hey, with me. Let's go. We're moving this way. Hey, they're over here. Hey, we got to build up. Hey, we're going to hug. Literally, it was like every couple seconds. And Jack was like, cool, love it, got it, good. Boom, 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 boom. Like, I mean, it was like ordering a pizza. It was hilarious. They're just like, option 1, yes. Option 2, yes. Order it, yes. I'll be done.
Yeah, and the interesting thing I want to really talk about is a team, I don't want to say struggled last week, but maybe didn't perform as well as they were hoping. Maybe
You
as
could
well
say
as
struggle.
maybe
I think they did.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I think that's fair. No, I think they would admit it too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
both Jack and Jordan would be like, and which again, I think they'd be the first ones to admit it. But
turned it around this week.
huge. Well, I think part of it is that Jordan and Jack are starting to warm up again together as partners, just in general. And I'm sure you know this, and everyone at home who've ever done a competitive sport, you know this too. It takes some time. If you took time off of a game or a sport or anything competitive that you love, it takes some time to go back and reacclimate, right?
Absolutely.
So we've got a little bit of reacclimation time. But I think the two things that really contributed to a massive jump in performance are A, Jordan is getting more comfortable and more assertive in his role as an IGL, and it showed. I even told him after the game, like, dude, those are amazing callouts, and they were amazing callouts. And what you'll notice is not only did he do that, but Jack played far more calm than he did in the previous drops last week. Like, one of the things he did last week was he shockwaved Jordan away in the middle of the fight.
Yep.
Like, and he was like, why did I do that? What is happening? And it's like, he's excited. And there's that, oh, it's a new first week of tournament. And it's, we're high pressure. We have a lot of expectations that they place on themselves, truthfully. But today, Jack played calm and Jordan played giving constant instructions and feedback. And it showed. And it paid in dividends, which is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to talk a little bit about the difference that it comes to coaching a team like Jack and Jordan, or I'm going to throw Eli and Lachlan in the same boat as them, compared to a team that's maybe a little bit slower, but fundamentally very sound, like a team like the Goats or the YOYOZ that still kind of struggling to find their mark, it seems, but performing very well though.
There's always a difference, right? And I think a lot of it doesn't even necessarily come down to skill level. It comes down to like personality more than it does anything else. Like with Jordan and Jack, I don't need to coach them on how to take fights.
Mm-hmm.
Like they know how to take fights. They want the fight. They're sitting there plotting, and like in last drop, Jordan is by himself, and Jordan's like, I'm gonna frag out. If someone lands on me, please land on me. Click. It's like I'm ready. But for other teams who are maybe a little bit more fundamentally sound, like I need to be the one coaching them and like sort of pushing them a little bit, like, hey, coax into a fight. Let's go. We have the ability to take this. So I think it just depends on like where they are in terms of their own journey. I will say though that there's advantages to all of the different types of players.
Absolutely.
Like I'll use Nick and Brady as a great example. They actually finished ahead of Jack and Jordan in drop 2.
Yes.
And part of the reason they did is that methodical nature. I guarantee you that Brady, before doing anything, was either himself taking that 360 or having Nick take that 360 before they moved or did anything. And actually, that I'll take some blame on this. This was coach's fault. I was like, guys, we should farm up in this building. I was with Jack and Jordan. They were, and we did not pay attention to the fact that somebody had just crouch walked into the building.
Oh, wow.
Realized that someone was there, and then Jack was dead before we could even know anything about it. So, but again, it's like one of those little talents that, like, I don't know if that would have happened if Brady and Nick had been in that situation because of the way that they play. So it's just, different strengths, different approaches,
Absolutely.
but it's always so fun.
Absolutely. And some very solid Fortnite all around.
Some very
tonight.
solid Fortnite.
Right.
Across all of our divisions.
Yeah, I was saying I want to hear some updates about the off-stream games. We always talk about the on-stream.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, Easton and Cohen did absolutely fantastic. I don't think they were one of our stream games this evening, but another huge finish for them tonight. Third with 8 kills in drop 1, and then I believe it's like 12th with 2 kills in drop 2. So really solid.
Yeah.
Again, just points, putting them right into that thing so that when we get to playoffs, they can get that positional, they can get that banner, which they have the potential to get.
Absolutely.
Gavin and Sean just continue to start putting up some more performances, which is great. It was another solid night of Fortnite for those two. I already mentioned Nick and Brady, but like I feel like every drop that the two of those two take together, it's just a
I watched it. It was like from the little bit we watched of them last week and a little bit we watched of them this week, it seemed so much better.
And it's only going to get better because Brady keeps pushing Nick to be more analytical and Nick keeps pushing Brady to be more aggressive. And not a lot of a push, but just enough that there's some continual growth in the right direction.
Just enough of a challenge there.
Yes, very much so. Micah did really well tonight, handling some really high pressure situations that he doesn't usually get a chance to do. I really want to give my buddy Benny Boy Jones a shout out because he had some technical difficulties that kicked him out in the middle of match 2.
Ooh.
And then, we had talked about resilience tonight, and rather than give up, he's like, oh, man. No, I'm like, Benny, you can just coach. He goes, I can coach, and then just rips the headphones back on. And I literally had to be like, I'm going to step away from him. He was like this. Like, buddy, get away from Liam. I'm sorry, coach. I'm so excited. I know you are. And that's the best thing about it. But that, again, I love a victory. I love a championship banner. I'm not going to sit here and, tell you I don't as I collect my Infinity Gauntlet worth of banners. But, like, that level of resilience, that level of a kid being like, I'm going to take a step back. This sucks, but I'm going to make the best of it to help my teammate out. And lo and behold, Liam gets a 13th place finish with 2 kills.
And especially as a solo, you can't argue with that.
And I'm like, I'm stoked. In his first tournament ever with Valhallan. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I love. So, I mean, when I say there was a lot of great Fortnite tonight, there was a lot of really good, solid Fortnite this evening, and that's truly what makes me happy. So
absolutely,
shout out to every one of the boys. I don't think I've usually there's 1 or 2 teams where I'm like, all right, I have notes, I have some constructive criticism, I want to have a conversation. And across the board, nothing tonight in terms of like the performance of the students themselves. I'm just happy across the whole board.
Absolutely. Well, Coach Kyle, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on the solid Fortnite, and I don't know, things are looking up for you. Maybe for maybe an ESC ring. Some would say.
I would like to go to Florida. I hear Florida's lovely in the summer. Goodbye, everybody.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for supporting us, for watching us. Hope you guys enjoyed all of the content, all the craziness that you got to see tonight. I know I did. Tune in probably Thursday. Well, Wednesdays are always up in the air, you guys know, but tune in probably Thursday, or we'll be back with some Valorant. And until then, for myself, Coach Christian, and everybody here at Valhallan Camp Hill, thank you guys so much. Good night, everybody.